practice of sound means, again, it's a same thing as before. We always say purification. So when we talk about Changchok the other day, we were talking the purification. Sound also is the purification. Sound actually, if you translate it directly, it means washing, or it means illuminating. So this means it means purification. So when we talk about the purification, we have lots of different things to purify anyway, because we have been in this world since quite beginning years of the samsara to now. So therefore we have been accumulating negative karma constantly. So therefore negative karma, there's a heaps of negative karma has to be punished and has to be purified. So it's it's not a joke, or it's not a kind of a small issue. It's a very big issue. Purifying is a very important thing that we have to do. In Buddhism also, we always, whatever we do, we always talk about purification, because we need to purify. The only thing, the only problem that we can really register ourselves is the defilement, the negative karma, the negative tendency. The habitual tendency that we have, and that is the tendency that we really have to purify. And so that is what Buddhist always talks about, and it's true also that we need to. All the ritual practices are nothing but just means to purify, and also the meditations are also nothing but just mean to practice, mean to purify. So that we have to understand. I think many of us, we don't understand what is really the principle of the practice. What is the really reason, meaning of the practice? I don't know. Some people, they think, yeah, practice is meant to be making our mind more peaceful. But that is also true. But peace of mind doesn't go anywhere. If you have a little bit of peace of mind, yes, that itself is a very nice, very good. But then, what does it lead to? What does it take you to? That you have to understand. So the most important is the purification. Peaceful or not, or happy or not, that is something else. But really, the thing is, purification is to be done. And there are many ways of purifying. Some ways of purifying is like a kind of painful way of purifying. Some way of purification is like a peaceful way of purification, happy way of purification. So purifying also, there are tons of different ways of purifying. For example, even if you don't practice, you sometimes you purify. For example, you have an unfortunate kind of incident or an accident, whatever. These all are process of purifying. You are purifying. You are purifying your certain type of karma through going through the different sorts of experiences. Especially if you go through a painful experience, itself is a very good or bad, I don't know, but it's a purification. It's a process of purification. But that's what we don't want. We want a kind of a purification that you don't have to experience it. Before experiencing it, we want to purify and clean it up, and we will go over it. Hopefully we will be sort of like we will get rid of the negative karma, and that's what we are hoping and we are doing, and that's what we have to aim for. So this is something you have to understand, very important. Otherwise all the so-called obstacles are there. Whatever you do something, there is an obstacle. You do a, let's say, business, there's an obstacle. You do a kind of a family affairs, like a marriage, and to have a family kind of thing. Again, there's some problems. There's always a problem and an obstacle. So the obstacles are coming from where? Of course, we always blame on somebody else. Oh, he is my obstacle. She is my obstacle. My partner is my obstacle. That is my obstacle. There are lots of obstacles that you can blame on, you can point to. But that's not right. From Buddhist point of view, the most of the basic problems are definitely nobody, but it's just your negative karma. So you have to be the one who should be sorting out this problem. And through going through the practices of purification. That is the reason why the practices are very badly needed, no matter what you are, who you are, and what you are sort of up to, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, you have to do it. Purification is needed somehow, very badly needed. No matter what. If you are rich, you have to purify. If you are poor, you have to purify. If you are Buddhist, you have to purify. If you are non-Buddhist, you have to purify. But purification has to always be done in a different way. In Christian, Catholic, Orthodox, they have their own way of doing it. We all our own way of doing it. But the thing is that the purification is so important. If you go to a church, you will know that there's a lot of booths, like a telephone booth. There's a lot of booths that you can go through and then confess with the priest. Each booth has a priest sitting there, and you go there and you tell. So this means purification, confess. So it's a clean. It's their own belief that they have this way, and we have also our way of confessing, and confessing itself is a purification. And as I mentioned, I think most of the religion in the world, they do have their own way of purification, because they all equally know that the purification is very badly needed. Without purification, there's a lot of obstacles. Unwanted incidents are happening. And without knowing how to get rid of it. Of course, superficially we know, we are quite smart, how to go about, how to cheat the people so that our business will be a little better. If I can cheat somebody else, then my business will be sort of going quite smoothly. But I cheat somebody else, and I cheat my partner, I cheat my family members, I cheat my neighbor, I cheat my business partners, I cheat my boss, I cheat my secretary, my whatever, So by cheating also I can get a little bit of profit, a little bit of say way to go. So this is also our way of doing. But that is very bad, and that is actually we are causing more problems for long run. But for short term, it works. It works for the short term. But for long run, it is a very big problem you are creating for yourself. So that is what we say karma, the negative karma you are creating in the name of getting better life. The process of getting better life, you are doing it. You are creating negative karma. Of course, because we don't know really how it works. So therefore, we try our best. We do all sorts of things in order our business to go well, in order our family affair to go well. So therefore, like a food also, we say, the food, that we have to have a nice banquet. So in order to have a nice banquet, nice party, you have to kill somebody else. You have to kill a lot of animals, and you have to eat a lot of meat. Otherwise, the banquet is not going to be a successful banquet, a great grand banquet. You cannot. So you have to kill animals. So then you eat animals, so that the banquet will be like a grand looking. And also you have to drink a lot of alcohol. Otherwise the banquet will not be sort of considered as a very good banquet. So therefore, in order to make the banquet grand looking, you have to do all sorts of negative harms. So for long run, doing such kind of thing will create a lot of problems for long run. But for short term, it works. So what do you think? What do you normally what do you how do you say? What do you prefer? You know, a long-term happiness and long-term kind of result is better, or the short-term result is better? This is what we have to be smart enough to understand which one we should be choosing for ourselves. So that's the kind of a point where you need the Buddhist teaching, religious teaching. All the religions are, I think, equally very nice, very good. But obviously, in terms of Mahayana Buddhism, we don't have, how do you say, the Bodhisattva, the smartness of Bodhisattva teaching, Bodhicitta teaching is tremendous, very unbelievable. It's a very smart way of doing it. So, purification, we have to be purifying, we have to be gaining something which really gains the long-term happiness and short-term happiness at the same time. So it just gains together at the same time. Therefore, like in Vajrayana, ritual practices are the means of purifying. Sun is very much the purification, the smoke puja, the smoke puja, or the smoke puja, or the fire puja, whatever you may call it. All these things are means to purify. We rely on the fire. Fire represents fire. You have to understand that the fire is nothing but fire is the wisdom. And then the fire burns something, so that the burning, the substances that we burn in the fire is you have to understand that this is the, how do you say, that is the negative karma. Negative karma and the circle of the consciousness. So that is what we burn. And then, of course, when it comes to the smoke, it transforms into an offering. Not only just to burn them and then finish it. No, it has to be transformed into an offering. And that offering goes to the universe and offers to the universal truth, offers to the Buddha and Bodhisattvas and great ones, the divine ones, all over the world, all over the universe. You offer. And that means, it doesn't mean that they divine beings are needed or divine beings are going to be receiving something from what you are doing. But you are doing that symbolically, that this helps, because the smoke represents the transformation of the, transformation of the defilement into the wisdom, into the pure clarity state of the mind, or the wisdom state of the mind. Because primordially it is wisdom. Primordially it is clarified. It is the Buddha. It is nothing it is something that is nothing need to be purified. It is already sort of tathagata dharma. But we don't know that. So therefore, through our own practice, such as sun practice, burning practice, smoke puja practice, fire practice, it means it actually helps you to understand transforming the mind, transforming the defilement into the wisdom. That is the thing. Transformation, what we are really talking about, is to understand the reality of the defilement, reality of the negative karma. Negative karma, from the reality point of view, negative karma is no longer negative. It is no longer positive, no longer negative. It is no longer exist. It is the Mahamudra. That is the thing. It is doctrine. So therefore, what we are doing is here, through the Vajrayana practices. In the Mahayana, we don't say this kind of thing. But in the Vajrayana, the burning stuff, like you have a lot of different stuff that you are burning. So all these things are offering things. You are offering to. Sometimes we say that you are offering to the fire Buddha, fire God. It doesn't matter. You can say whatever you want, you know. And sometimes they say, yeah, we are offering with this, burning this, and then you offer, as I mentioned, you know, you transformed into the smoke, and the smoke is the offerings object. So then you offer to the deities, divine beings, and Buddha, Dharma, and Sanghas, and Bodhisattvas all over the world. Whatever you say, it doesn't matter. It works. It works that way anyway. But actual thing, what you have to realize is that it's the same thing, that the things, the substances that you are burning are the symbolizes it. These burning things symbolizes the negative karma, and then you burn that. That actually means that you're burning, or you are purifying your negative karma. And purification, what really we are talking about, is to transform the negative karma into the positive karma, into the offerings as a smoke. Something like, you know, what you burn, like incense is like this. You have an incense and you burn the incense, and then smoke comes, and the incense finally gone. So similarly, that the negative karma burns and then become like a positive karma. Positive karma, what we refer to here, is the wisdom, the primordial state of the mind, primordial state of the negative karma. That's it. So this is what you realize. So then you just, if you are very much like a high realized meditationer or the practitioner, then of course you do the different way. You don't have to really. You just do this practice, and you just have to remain on its own nature and understanding nature. You just have a very highly realized kind of form of understanding. So just remain on your realization. That's it. You don't really have to do that much. But if you are not really highly realized being, then people like us, then we have to visualize very, very precisely that you're burning. When you burn, you just have to visualize and think that you are, burning your emotions, burning your anger, burning your defilement, the negative karmas, etc. And you're burning them, and then as soon as it burns, it just goes, transforms into the wisdom. That is true, because the primordial state of the emotions are the wisdom. As I mentioned the other day, the anger is wisdom, the mirror-like wisdom, the desire is the wisdom, called discriminating wisdom, which is the Amitabha, and all the emotions, all the afflictive emotions are not afflictive emotions anymore. Actually, primordially they are wisdom. They are the Buddha. They are the wisdom. They are the how do you say, fundamental quality of the Buddha. That's, nobody made it anyway. It's primordially there. It's primordially there that you have to understand. But you have to understand that. Therefore, you have to, relatively, we are very much, how do you say, very much covered by the afflictive emotions and the negative karma. Therefore, we have so many obstacles in the day-to-day life, so many obstacles in practices. So many obstacles in the material practices as well as spiritual practices. Why? Because the obstacles are the negative karma. It's a manifestation of negative karma. So negative karma is very strong. A, because you're not realized being. So therefore you have very strong karma. B, you have not been purifying. So therefore you have negative karma. C, not only that, you are adding up the negative karma all the time. You're not minimizing negative karma. Instead, you are adding up the negative karma every minute and every second of your day-to-day life. We are adding up. So therefore, we are like buried under the layers of negative karma. So this is the reason why we have to really work very hard every time, every day. But you don't have to think that, that okay, I have to purify, so therefore now I have to be monk, or I have to be nun, or I have to be in the temple, or I have to be in the monastery, or I have to be in the church all the time. It's not like that. Purification can be done anywhere. You can do anywhere. You can do it anywhere. You can sort of like how do you say? It's the process of purification is like a mobile. It has to be mobilized. It has to be mobilized all the time, everywhere. It really is portable. It has to be portable. It shouldn't be like okay, that is the temple that I have to go in and then do it. No, you don't have to go to a temple. You shouldn't think that the purification can be done only in that place. It can be done anytime, anywhere, in your bedroom, in the toilet, in the kitchen, in the office, in the car, in any places, wherever you are, whatever you do. You just can do it. Because you have to, how do you say, what you have to do is you just how do you say, contemplate. The contemplation is the best way of processing your purification. That is the thing. So therefore, I just was thinking to tell you a bit about purification, because I think people always think the Buddhist, and especially the Vajrayana Buddhist community. Maybe Mahayana Buddhists also, they do sometimes, I think, because in China and Chinese Buddhist follower, like a Vietnamese and all, they are very fond of making fire and burning something. So I think they do have their own sort of version of fire puja and fire smoke puja and all these things. But to my understanding, Mahayana, the real Mahayana, of course now the Mahayana sometimes mixed with the Tao Jiao, Tao. And also sometimes the Mahayana, sometimes Chinese Mahayana mixed with this shamanism and all these things. So it's a little bit of mixtures. So then I don't know, but to my understanding, a pure Mahayana, I think doesn't have that fire pujas and smoke pujas and all these things. It's only in the Vajrayana that Vajrayana, we do have the fire pujas. And when we say have a fire puja, the significance of the fire puja is to burn the negative karma and transform into a positive karma or the wisdom, and offer the wisdom, offer the smoke to the great beings, to the Buddha and Bodhisattvas. When we say Buddha and Bodhisattvas in the universe, and this entire actually means the, how do you say, the union between your understanding, your realization through your practice, and the realization that it's very much primordially there, Tathagata Dharma. These two united. It has to be united, it has to be practiced, the union between these two. We call it samaya and wisdom. So mixture, or the union between the samaya and the wisdom. That is the thing that we are always talking about. But externally looking, it's a fire there, and then you burn something, and you do the ritual practices and make smoke. So sometimes you can call it smoke puja. In the West, people call it smoke puja because it's a smoke. There's a smoke. We don't have such kind of terminology, but that's only just the Western people. They always say smoke puja. So let's put it like that. And sometimes they call it fire puja. As also we can say that. I don't think we often say that. We don't say that. But sometimes we say fire puja, but I never heard that smoke puja. But then people say smoke puja because puja, they are doing ritual practices, and then there's a smoke. So then they think, oh, this must be a smoke puja. So it's okay, it doesn't matter whatever they call it, I don't mind. But despite of calling anything, you have to understand the meaning of it. That is very important. What is the symbolic behind that? What is the reason or meaning behind it? In front of the curtain there's a lot of things, but behind the curtain there's a basic thing. Basic controller is standing at the behind the curtain. So you have to know what is this. That is the thing. That tells you a lot, and that has to be understood. Very, very important. So you understood a little bit what I said? I hope. Because that many of you have already done a lot of fire pujas and smoke puja, I think. And also many of you have seen that people like me are doing this fire pujas and all that. And especially me, I'm very fond of doing fire puja because it really is makes a lot of sense to me and to the people, to the students, and to make everybody. And everybody feels very good, temporarily as well as, of course, for the long run, if he or she is smart enough to go a little behind that. Everything, whatever you do anyway, despite of Sang puja or Jawa puja or any kind of puja, you have to go little behind what the scene is. If the scene is like this, okay, if the fire, the flowers are here, there's a 4, 5, okay, I can see there's a maybe 5, okay, 5, and all these things. Is it just for looking? No, it shouldn't be. There should be some reason behind that. There should be some meaning about it. So you have to understand. So I would say this is a philosophical. You have to philosophically understand. You have to understand behind it. I mean, superficially, it is very understandable. It's a flower. It's a beautiful flower. What is the color? This is the color of the yellowish white color kind of thing. And what is the name of it? Yes, blah blah blah. You have a name. You have a lot of things to talk about superficially. But that is not the Vajrayana. Vajrayana is not only just a superficial kind of thing that we can talk about, but we have to have the deeper meaning. Why is it so that there's a 5 flowers? Why is it so there's a 3? Why is it so that it's a yellow? Why is it so that it's a multicolor? There's a lot of the multicolor. Why is it so? This sort of thing you have to understand. So this kind of deep understanding will tell a lot of things about the physical presentation of the existence. Very important. Vajrayana is not, not only just a meditation. It has a lot of physical connection, physical explanations. Sometimes we say that the Mahayana is Mahayana is we call it teachings of mind. Vajrayana is the teachings of body, physical body. So it's very important to know that. It is very much, Vajrayana is very much connected with the physical presentation. Physical presentation tells a lot of things. Mahayana is only for the mind. Mind needs to be peace, calm, and concentrated, and etc. That's it. Not much of physical presentation. But Vajrayana is very much physical oriented. The fire, the smoke, the things that you burn, the things that you blow, that the thing that you beat, the thing that you sit on, the thing that you touch, the thing that you make noise on, and that sort of things, bell and the vajra, etc. Entire physical existence are very much the, explanation. It has a lot of explanation that is connected with the Vajrayana teaching. So that is very important to understand. It's not only just to meditate and then do nothing and some breathings and then that's it. That's Vajrayana. No, it's not. Vajrayana is more complicated, 100 times, 1,000 times more complicated than the Mahayana. Very complicated. It has lots of details after the details, after the details. And then each detail has hundreds of thousands of meanings and descriptions. And each description has a lot of method that you have to handle carefully through the skill of meditation of Mahayana. So the Mahayana, that's the point where the Mahayana and Vajrayana marries together. That is very important. Otherwise, if you don't know that, then people think, sometimes some people think that the Mahayana and the Vajrayana are totally different. Nothing to do with the Vajrayana. Mahayana has nothing to do with the Vajrayana, Vajrayana has nothing to do with the Mahayana. It's two different things. Or sometimes they think, Mahayana and Vajrayana are same. Same means like, just not knowing anything, but just the same. It's a Lord Buddha's teaching. It's the same. Well, same means what? Okay, it's a nice thing to hear that it's the same. Yeah, but then what? How do you say? How do you rectify it? How do you identify this as these two are same? You have to know. You have to know these things. So that's the point where the Mahayana and the Buddhist, the Mahayana and the Vajrayana marries. The Vajrayana and Mahayana sort of mingles together and it works together, help each other. Without Mahayana, Vajrayana cannot really survive. And without Vajrayana, Mahayana cannot really gain the Buddhahood, final Buddhahood. Never will be able to. Mahayana has its own sort of results, lots of results, and lots of great results, and and also enlightenment, but not the full enlightenment, what we call full enlightenment, what we call yang tapanso visanje. Yang tapanso visanje cannot be achieved. So therefore it has to be mingled together and merged together. However, I don't want to take much of your time because we have a very shortage of time, and then we just have to do the prayers and pujas and all these things. It's a time. I'm being a little naughty, I think, to take your time. It's a puja time. It's not a teaching time. I'm sorry for that. But I just being a little nosy, I think, because I just want to tell you something about these things, because if you don't know, then this kind of thing that ritual practices, ritual things, you find everywhere. You find everywhere. So if you don't know the meaning, then there's not much of reason, not much of thing. Okay, sometimes I like the ritual practices, like the singing and the music sometimes. The music's not very much, but the singing sound, is pretty good, like pretty charming and pretty sort of like hallucinating, Then you feel like many people do like this, they just don't know anything about what's happening, but just kind of nice, rhythm. It's like especially when it goes with the heartbeat, it does make some sense. Then you feel like a good. Because the music, any kind of music has not much language. Without any language, it goes anywhere. It travels everywhere. It doesn't have any border. It goes anywhere. Music is beautiful anyway. So it's like ritual practices are also some kind of music that charms you. That sometimes it calms you also. So that's pretty good. But that's all. Music, chanting, singing songs, rhythms, and all these things are pretty good. But that doesn't make that much of sense. It makes some sense, certain way, but in a kind of a, let's say, when we talk about enlightenment, when we talk about ultimate goal, ultimate achievement, there's nothing. It won't help you to get anywhere. It's a little bit of like it's a drug, you know. It's like a drug. You know, you just have to keep on listening to that kind of thing, you know. That's the reason why many of the people they have a kind of a how do you say addiction to go to temple, addiction in the name of faith and devotion. I don't think that's a devotion. I don't think so. It's not. I don't think it is a faith or anything else. It's just an addiction. You know, you go there and listen to music and chant and peace. It's really calm and peaceful. You know, wow, that's nice. You know, I like it. I like going to church. I like going to temple. I like music. You know, the temple music. Oh, I like very much. Or something like that. I'm not saying I like, but I'm just pretending that I'm somebody else, you know, who are very much addicted to these kind of things. Then people go to temple, people do. I mean, yeah, unless somebody is forcing you to go there, then there's even worse than that. But you know, so addiction is also not a very sort of like a good thing. So what I'm trying to say is, you have to have a reason why you are how do you say, why you are doing puja, why you are doing prayers and practices. You have to have a good reason. You know, so that really makes a lot of sense. Then you will be, then if you know these things, then only then I would say that then you are the devotee. You know, you have the devotion, you have the faith, no matter what. You have a devotion. And you are a devotee because you know the things why you are doing, and you feel very good, and you feel very affected, and helped, and supported. So that is exactly what we need. You know, addiction is something else, but devotion is different, very much different. Addiction is very much based on the emotions. But the devotion is very much based on understanding, wisdom. You know? So we as a practitioner, and Vajrayana practitioner especially, we have to have a devotion. You know? Or I'm a devotee to the Buddha Dharma. I am a devotee to Vajrayana. I'm a devotee. So that actually means I know a little bit. Not so much, not too much, but little bit. Good enough that I get the benefit from the puja. You get the benefit because you understand. Not only just benefit like a hallucinating benefit kind of thing, but you really get a tremendous liberation, you know, within yourself. You may not be able to explain like very, very clearly, because it's like eating a chocolate. How you feel, you can't explain that well. You just can say, yeah, it's delicious, it's gorgeous, but that's all. And then if somebody keep on asking, how does it? Okay, you come and eat it. So, you know, at the end you have to ending up giving one piece to that person. Then let him to experience it. I can't tell. I can't say. You have to eat piece of it. So then you shouldn't ask me any question. You just eat one. So So similarly, that the spiritual practice, you have to do it and then you will know. There's not much of accurate kind of explanations on how you feel and how you get benefit, how you will be supported. There's not much. If you have a lot of things to say, then at the end it is going to be not very spiritual. It is going to be like a material kind of thing. It is going to be a religion. Very much religion, that's all. Talking too much is not good. You have to experience it. You talk, experience it. Yeah? If I have a piece of chocolate eating and you guys asking me, how do you feel? What do you feel? How, I mean, is it nice? Is it good? Yeah, I can say yes, very good, very good. That's all I can say. But then if you keep on asking, then I have to give you one piece of the cake or the chocolate. Then you will have to eat it. Then you will know. That's the reality understanding. The true understanding needs to be within yourself. You will have to get it. So that's it. Without talking too much, you have to get the experience. That is devotion. Once you have that kind of experience, that is devotion. And that will not be defected. It will not be what you call that, disconnected. The connection will not be disconnected. That kind of connection will not be disconnected because you have something within yourself. So thank you very much for listening to the gossip. Sarve pura pura sura sura
Nam Kashi Shri Yeah. Yeso Sundur